All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Lab Live PM segment. My name is Bray. I will be your host this afternoon. Hopefully, we can have a good session here. Hello, hello, Auntie. How we doing, guys? Let me get this bulky headset off. What's up, Dylan? How we doing, bro? How we doing? Good morning, guys. Or good afternoon. Good afternoon, not good morning. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. I have not been on the charts this morning, and I'm actually not even mad about it because it doesn't look like there was much opportunity for me despite the move. Hello, Manus. How'd you guys do today? How are you guys getting on so far this week? Good, bad, decent, curious. Very curious to see how you guys are doing. When was the last time I streamed? Monday? Yeah, it was Monday afternoon, I think. Let's see. What I'm gonna do is go through the AM session just on quick replay mode here. Just kind of get a feel for how everything went. Because I was not at the charts this morning. I took one look at it this morning actually, and I was like, I'm good on that. So I got about 2 minutes of chart time. So, okay. Yesterday we did not get any sort of SMT at the previous daily low. We had some, are those equal lows on ES? They are. Okay, so no previous daily low SMT. Yesterday we had a sweep of this low here. Let me actually mark that out. Make it red. Followed up by an expansion IFG, creating a large breaker block on the 15-minute. Also on the hourly as well. And then we have more or less just been kind of stuck going into the overnight session. And no Asia low SMT present. Every single asset swept out that Asia low. Then we get some SMT inside of this low here. YM sweeping that low out, which should be 4-hour consecutive candle SMT. Yep. Yep. And we have this breaker here overlapping the midnight open. So I'm going to draw standard deviations of that. And then I'm also going to draw standard deviations of the midnight projections. So those are going to be midnight. And then this one I'm going to do in a different color. So we've got 2.5 of the midnight projections resting just above or just basically at previous daily high. Okay. So previous daily high there. Bear with me. PDH. And then -2 standard deviations is kind of resting above there even more. So kind of up into price discovery area, right? Everything above this previous daily high is going to be price discovery. So that worked quite well there. And then 6 a.m. we get a retracement back into midnight opening price back into the breaker. No SMT created there. Another tap. We're just kind of accumulating right around that midnight open, and then 9 or 8 a.m. opens up, and we go and we begin running for the previous daily high. Just miss it. Then we run it again. So not the best, in my opinion. Like there wasn't anything clean on since London. We kind of just used this midnight opening price as support until 9:45 when we finally expanded out of here, and then we tagged -4 standard deviations of the midnight open projections and -2, and then some of the 15-minute breaker projections. Now it's just been kind of continuing higher. So I imagine we're going to maybe get up to 27,060s. Don't have any sort of solid look for a short-term play here. We're going to have to let some things kind of play out, I presume. Got a new 4-hour open here. And YM is completely opposite, which is going to make it a little tricky. NQ definitely the strongest, closing above, trading above the previous daily high and closing above it on the 4-hour. It's tough shorting this. I mean, you can't really do much with it on the short side, right? And longs, I mean, longs are already like, I'm not gonna try to take more longs when we're already at high of day in price discovery, like meeting projections. It's just another PM session where we have not much to do. And I'm not going to subject myself to dropping down to low time frame to scalp it. Because I don't rock that way. But yeah. Yeah. Pretty shitty. Submit to the 12-second? Never. You speak heresy. Hello, Shams. Danster. Millet. Yeah. I'm just looking at it, trying to figure out what the hell it wants to do, and I kind of at a loss for words, to be honest. So it's going to be a session where we more or less talk about other stuff. We can do some reviews. I can go over some of I took 2 trades yesterday. I can go over those. 2 incredibly clean setups. I'll probably do breakdowns. I'll do breakdowns on both of them on here on live, but I will also probably do a breakdown video too. No, it's not worth the hassle whatsoever. Not one bit. So we'll just kind of hang out in here. And if you guys have questions, uh, feel free to ask, of course. We're still going to hang out here. We're going to read price. We're going to have some fun. Go over a few things. But yeah, I've had a busy day so far. I mean, not trading wise, but morning spent at my computer doing other stuff, tax stuff and whatnot, planning, figuring out a bunch of shit. So current 4 hours, just kind of retracing back into the hourly range here. Got a big gap right here as well on the 15. We've already got like loads of SMT at the AM low and the lunch low. A 50-minute gap here. I mean, at this point, like it's still bullish, obviously. We're retracing. We have this weird divergence going on with YM being incredibly weak. YM actually has a formed its high of day at 10:15. And I believe we've had this AM low SMT since, well, since lunch started. So we created the lunch low or the AM low SMT here, and we just went on to form more highs, which makes sense because we have to create, if we're going to go short, we have to create a breaker block with some SMT. We had one here, but we didn't have any sort of SMT yet, so it let the session play out. And then it created this expansion higher here too. So yeah, it's you can only dress it up so much. You can only dress the chart up so much before you just kind of have to accept that it's not worth touching, right? So I apologize if this session is going to be a little bit boring. Can I explain why a short is not in play? Yeah. I mean, simply put, what's price action telling you right now? Do we have any sort of bearish confirmation on high time frame? We have a 4-hour candle that closed green as green could be. Hourly candle closing green. Yeah, zero bearish confirmation on anything. There isn't even a 5-minute bearish confirmation. You don't even have a 1-minute bearish confirmation. So I think this high has to get ran out, or we have to create this 15-minute breaker for me to even be remotely bearish. Remotely. I think the chance for us to be bearish was yesterday, but we had to close bearish on this 2 p.m. candle, which we did not. We actually formed a swing after sweeping the 10 a.m. low from Monday, and we just have continued higher. So I think shorting this is just low prob. You could stab at it with low risk, and like I'm sure you can catch scalps. I'm not saying that you can't catch scalps, but I wouldn't be expecting, you know, any long-term shorts until we see some actual confirmation, some actual, proven evidence, right? That's all. Because we have the SMT, sure, we have it. We have the liquidity sweat, but like we've had this daily high SMT with ES and YM since fucking 10, and we have since expanded an extra 150 points above the high. So it doesn't strike me as a liquidity pool that's ripe for the reversal, right? um, Typically, like you'll see this, like for a reversal, you'll see a sweep, a shallow, more of a shallow raid, right? Why is my like 20 points, right? And then we had a nice bearish confirmation. These were valid shorts. Yesterday was very clean, very, very clean. Um, and like you have the lunch high S&T, you have the AM high S&T. I understand that, but I mean the bearish S&T that you have with YM is kind of negated by the fact that we have the bullish SMT with it as well. It's just the fact that YM is just complete opposite right now. So like how much can we trust it for correlation? Probably not that much. We have AM high with ES, which is nice to see as well, but we don't want to see ES already failed to sweep previous daily high, and it still hasn't taken its counterpart in liquidity. So if you just have NQ sweeping PDH and sweeping AM high and sweeping lunch high, like that's not any sort of like crack in correlation. That's just NQ proving that it's the stronger asset and the other ones are just weaker. So what I would like to see is if we're going to get bearish, if we're going to get a bearish confirmation, what that would look like is we would need to see a closure preferably on the 15-minute below this low. That would give us a high time frame breaker block, right? Even this IFEG, but the breaker block is preferred. And seeing as NQ already swept previous daily high, AM high, lunch high, it swept tons of liquidity. You'd want to see us confirm that breaker, retrace into said breaker, and then create a failure swing with SMT with ES or YM. That is something that I can get behind. Not something like this, where you just have NQ constantly being the one that sweeps, because then you're just trying to short the strong asset, and it's just not going to be fun for you. So, um, the only bullish S&T we have is with YM, which again, I already mentioned that it's not the most trustworthy SMT, just given the fact that YM is complete opposite. Like it was dropping all morning while NQ was consolidating and going higher. For a scalp, um, one could anticipate that if you want to get, jiggy with it, you could say that if we get some sort of breaker confirmation inside of this for value gap, then we get in this for value gap with this SMT. So like something like that, you could take that to the highs, but like that's not really a high ROI or high RR setup. Not high enough anyway. 0.93 to the highs, 1.34 to the -4 standard deviations, like max expansion of the 15-minute breaker from London, or rather, yeah, I guess London. So, I mean, you tell me. We've been streaming for 26 minutes and I've been like trying to come up with a reason and I can't. So like if you have to show up to the charts, I mean, I know this too well because I've done this before. Like if it takes you more than if you let's base this on the assumption that you already have a good understanding of what your model looks like from all the way from like rules of engagement, finding a high time frame draw, and like starting from the high time frame and breaking it all the way down to low time frame. Let's assume that you know every single component of your model very well and you have confidence in it. It shouldn't take you more than 2 minutes, 5 max, to figure out if you have a setup coming or not. Like it shouldn't take you that long. If it takes you longer than that, you're forcing something and you need to just sit back. Because like that's what this chart will do. It'll make you think. It'll make you think that there's something. I mean, look at what it's doing right now. We already kind of arrived at the conclusions. Like, I mean, if you wanted to scalp, you could take a 1 minute breaker up to these highs, but you have to kind of be able to kind of identify the difference between, taking a trade out of boredom and taking a trade based off of conviction. And this isn't a trade based off conviction. This is basically just me finding something in lieu of anything good being present. You know? Take a quick peek at other markets. Oil continues to be more or less unaffected. on a bigger scale. I mean, it's becoming decreasingly affected by all of this nonsense between U.S. and Iran. I haven't been very interested in it. Um, let's see. We can do a quick little topical study on it. Okay. So sweep of this low here. Let me get my new day divider up. I don't know why that's not up. It's on the 4 hour this way. So a sweep of this old daily low, weekly low, followed up by a confirmation actually of a 4 hour breaker block. That breaker block has projections up to these relative equal highs. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It fits, but again, I think we'll have to kind of wait and see because this is extremely headline driven. It's very hard to kind of, you know, depict what it wants when it can go either way in an instant, right? All it takes is one tweet. So gold, I mean, I won't spend much time on gold. Gold is just stuck. Bitcoin trading back up into a monthly bearish for value gap. I mean, multi-time frame bearish for value gaps. So we've got a little bit of a bounce off of this low that was formed in the beginning of February, retracing back up into internal. So I would anticipate that, based on my understanding of how the market moves, I would anticipate that we're going to run this low. Don't know when, don't know how, but I do understand that we had to form some sort of breaker block. So what that looks like, I'm not sure. I'm not saying I want to get short on Bitcoin. I don't trade it like that. I'll buy dips into this range and I'll buy more dips if we take this low, right? So it's basically just like if I'm wrong, I'll at least try to catch a retracement and like buy some here. And then if my thesis turns out to be correct, I'll continue to buy some here. And then if my thesis is even more correct and that we're going to go even lower, then I will buy here. But I'm already positioned long term on Bitcoin. And that's about all the analysis that I will give on Bitcoin. I'm not a crypto bro. I don't want people thinking I'm a crypto bro because I don't know enough about it to claim that status, and I don't think I ever want to claim that status because I think a lot of crypto space is just fucking stupid, to be fair. But that's just me. Why don't we? We're getting an expansion up out of here. We can kind of monitor this. No confirmations. I mean, this could just as easily slam back down, right? Really hard decoupling market. Yeah. Yeah, you're not kidding. Let's break down my trades from yesterday. Let's do that because I can't be fucking bothered to look at this. Okay. And feel free to ask questions along the way. All right. So, waking up in the morning, feeling like P. Diddy. Just kidding. I'm not going to sing a Kesha song. 7:30 a.m. NQ sweeps this. Yeah. No, it was the TikTok lyrics. That's what that is. Mr. Baby Oil. No, totally different thing. Totally different reference. Yeah. Anyway, I just had to clarify so you guys don't think I'm some sick poppy. Okay, waking up in the morning, seeing that NQ is sweeping out this previous weekly high from Friday. Confluence number one. Confluence number two, SMT with ES at said previous weekly high. Confluence number three, if you draw standard deviation from the low of the week to the open of the week, you will see that NQ is also trading into -4 standard deviations of the weekly wick. Confluence number three. Okay. So we have liquidity sweep, SMT, standard deviations met, premium market. I'm sure we could find more standard deviations to draw as well. There's this one here as well, -2, -2.5 of this breaker from Asia also met. So you have your pick of the litter with all of these confluences, okay? So what I did, I also noticed that we had this 15-minute breaker prepped, okay? Prepped meaning the swing is there. We just have to confirm it, okay? We also had an hourly breaker prepped. So this low and this low. Now, what I was looking for was at the very least us to get down into this London low, Asia low, because we had no SMT, nothing, no sweeps present. We basically stacked session upon session upon session. London failed to take Asia. Pre-market has failed to take any sort of liquidity in London. So we're kind of just stacking an accumulation, and we've manipulated back up into this premium. So what I did is I took all these confluences I had high conviction in, and I actually dropped down to a low time frame to look for a low time frame breaker to get in early, okay? Now, we had this 1 minute breaker get confirmed right here. This was where my entry was. Okay? 1 minute breaker. I'm not playing the 1 minute projections though. I'm trying to, I think I got in like, yeah, it was like in this candle right here. It wasn't perfectly on the breaker because I wasn't at the chart when it confirmed, but right in around here. I wasn't looking to just, play these projections to -2 or -4 and, call it good. I wanted to play this like an early entry into a high time frame play. So I was entered all the way up in here, and then I was waiting to see if we could confirm this 15-minute breaker down here. Okay? Because if that 15-minute breaker confirms down here, then I've got potential for a high RR play down into here. Maybe even down into the weekly open. Okay? So I was short from the high off the 1 minute breaker, anticipating that we were going to confirm this 15-minute breaker here with all of the confluence that we have present. Confirmation of that 15-minute breaker happens here. I go to break even because I'm short all the way up here. Okay. And then from there, I think I partialed at London low. So like right around here. And it was just before 9:30. I partialed just near the low. And then 9:30 took me down. I think I got out right before because we had this London low SMT, Asia low SMT. We had this kind of breaker getting prepped here. So I kind of got out down in here for a total of, I mean, I think with partials included, it was like, I don't know, like it was 3.5 R, I think, something like that. Partialed off pretty heavy at London low. Then the majority, then the rest was down here. So that was trade number one. And that's kind of how that's how I'll play a 1 minute setup when I have the potential for a higher time frame setup to play out. It doesn't always work out, but if you can manage to get that 15-minute confirmation and play those projections with a 1 minute play, that's how you can get higher R to R setups. Just milking the trade, right? That's my favorite way of taking 1 minute trades when I have the potential to catch a major expansion on the high time frame, like the 15 or the hourly. Okay. And then what ended up happening actually is we created SMT at this high. NQ swept liquidity and then fails to take liquidity. So it sweeps and then forms a failure swing back into the breaker. That breaker hasn't met projections yet. You get another confirmation to drop lower again. Beautiful, beautiful shorts off of that. I wasn't at the charts for it, but that is what ended up playing out. And then I think I let the rest of the day kind of go until 3 p.m. So we bounced off of this weekly open. We failed to meet projections off of the 15-minute breaker. We just missed the -4, and we don't have any bullish confirmation. There's no bullish 15-minute breaker. We have an hourly bearish breaker that also needs projections to be met. So let me use those as well. And you can see -2 hasn't been met of that hourly breaker either. So we have projections that haven't been met yet. That's, excuse me, that's a sign for me that we're not done yet. Okay. And NQ hasn't swept any sort of liquidity. We haven't taken PDL. We haven't taken this low from yesterday, well, Monday, 2 days ago. And all I was waiting for was just more SMT to get short on a continuation. Okay. So I wasn't discounting the fact that this was a lower time frame SMR. But what I was looking for was more shorts because I had conviction that I wanted to see us get to lower targets given the standard deviation projections not being met, given that we haven't had any high time frame confirmation. So this can strictly be looked at as a retracement. So I noticed this lunch high here was also resting kind of just inside of this 30-minute bearish for value gap. But the lunch high is the important part. And it's also kind of resting right at -2, -2.5 standard deviations of the 1 minute breaker from the 130 smart money reversal on the 1 minute. So just waiting. And then the moment that we form this lunch high SMT, we're prepping a breaker on the 1 minute. New 15-minute candle at 3:30, 3:30 being an SMR window. Tagging standard deviations, tagging that for value gap. Lunch high SMT with YM. Draw below. I shorted this basically before that we even got the breaker confirmation. I got short in this candle here. Stop at the high of the PM. Closure below that confirms the breaker, which is your best bet. But I just had confidence behind this setup, so I was able to get it. I got in earlier, and that's just a choice that I made. Breaker confirmation. You don't even get a retracement into the breaker. Sometimes it's going to happen. and then you get a news-driven move. I did not hold for the whole thing. I had to get out early due to consistency, but this was another 3-ish hour trade. I think I took it down to these lows. I don't remember exactly where. But massive, massive shorts. Very, very easy. And then that was the trade from yesterday. Well, both trades from yesterday. So if you guys have questions about them, feel free to ask. Let's go to recent PA and see what's shaken out here. Are you backtesting for New York PM or looking for frameworks into setups? I was just going over my trades from yesterday. I'm scared I'm getting cooked right now, but the game's the game. I'm currently long, but you're scared. Well, if you're scared, go to fucking church. What do you think about Earn Tesla? I have no idea what you mean. Earn Tesla. Is it like a dividend program or what is it? Or do you mean earnings? Does Tesla have earnings today? Let me check earnings whispers. Earnings whispers. Oh no shit. Tesla is earning today. Earnings today after the close. Okay, that clears it up. That makes more sense. My apologies. I mean, I have no idea. I don't have a damn clue about what the Tesla projected earnings are. I don't really keep an eye on it, but I know that earnings um tend to be pretty fun to trade. If you know what you're doing. I didn't even realize that Tesla earnings. Yeah. SMT on the 50-minute highs would be great, but I don't know, kind of getting late for New York PM. I mean, with earnings coming too, like you can get the move a lot later. Yeah, I have no idea what I don't pay attention to the earnings in terms of numbers or whether they're going to be on target or if it's going to be a beat or a miss. But I do know that they can print some pretty good setups. So I like to keep an eye on for earnings. I like to keep an eye on unmitigated breakers. So breakers that have not been repriced into and standard deviations. So the one standard deviation that has not been met that I have on my chart right now is this -4 standard deviation from the Asia session that formed this Asia low. You could also, I mean, you could use this one. Let's just draw. Let's see where they line up, shall we? Probably all line up around the same spot. Yep. -2, -2, -4, all kind of in this area. So at the moment, I don't have anything, but that can change. Everyone had a good trading day / week. I am up a few R on the week. Not as much trading. Haven't traded at all today. Didn't have any business trading. This is what I found on Google. Tesla will report its Q1 2026 financial results after the market closed today, Wednesday. A live Q&A webcast with CEO Elon Musk and executives is scheduled to follow at 5:30 to discuss the results and outlook. Gotcha. I got long off the 15-minute breaker retest and lunch low. Confirmed the 1-minute breaker, but it was outside a macro, but that's fine for me given the information it had. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't want a long hive day, basically. That's my reason. Didn't want a long hive day, meeting projections with SMT. The SMT was just kind of decoupled for me. Like, I mean, YM is just, I don't trust the correlation right now. But looks like it's playing out well. I mean, definitely wasn't looking short, that's for sure, but the long wasn't high prob for me. But we did talk about the potential for if a breaker confirms with this SMT, we can make a run into the highs. It just wasn't my type of trade. So it's just one of those ones where you can kind of see things how they can likely play out, but you just don't take them because I'm not in the business of taking any type of trade, right? I want to have a lot of confidence behind my setups, give myself the best chance to manage it correctly and over time taking higher quality setups or setups that I deem high quality is a better way for me to see long-term success. So yep, and yeah, you won't catch strays from me. It's definitely a valid play. There's a difference between a valid play and um, a high quality play, right? Like this might be high quality to you, but it's not to me, right? So that's the subjective part. But just because it's valid, it also doesn't mean that you need to take it either. So that's kind of where I'm at, right? Because I deem it valid for sure, but weighing all the probabilities and weighing all of the confluences or lack thereof, I just don't want to be in on it. But I do hope it prints. I do hope it prints. Yeah, it was terrible in the morning session. Yeah, it looked like it was. Chop, 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 chop. And then just a weird expansion with no SMT. No good SMT. If we could have had like London low or something, would have made things way easier. Way, way, way easier. First time watching your stream, Bray. Good shit. Appreciate it, man. I really appreciate that. I've been doing a lot of PMs, but going forward, I'll be doing some more AM sessions. It's just my scheduling. Like my work schedule hasn't really allowed me to catch many AM session streams. But going forward, I think I'm going to be given some more AM sessions. So you'll get to see me trade a session that is not boring, which is a little more fun. I rarely, I think I've taken fucking maybe 2 trades in the PM session on these streams. Um, I don't get setups on the in the PM that much. AM session is kind of where I shine. I was into FX for 2 years, just started indices this week for my own sanity. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. I don't like FX either. I don't like it at all. Once I came to indices, like I just stopped caring about Forex in general. It's just a much better market. It's a gentleman's market. That's what I like to call it. It's the gentleman's market. There's no fucking wacky slippage. There's no weird fucking fees depending on the time of the day. Like it's pretty static. Like you get your tick spread, unless like obviously shit is super volatile. But like you're not gonna, you don't have to trade that. Yeah, it's more formal, exactly. It's yeah. It's how a market should be, in my opinion. Looks like it's starting to get windy out. That's not good. I gotta go for a run. Moving to Indonesian shrimp futures if this trade doesn't hit. Yeah. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, brother. How many miles do you run? Depends on the day. Depends on the day. Depends on the week. Right now I'm in taper. I race. I have a race in 11 days. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 11 days. So right now I'm tapering, which, but I'm also dealing with an injury. So this week, my goal is to run 40 miles, 45 miles. I think that's what I'm after. But prior to my injury, I was running like 55 miles a week average from since January. It's called Breath by James Nestor. What's it about? I love book recommendations. Breathing trick to unlocking stamina. Is it? Is it legit or is it like some fad? Okay. Looks good. Very cool. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, dude. Breathing is so important. Like 100% see what you mean. Very cool. Very good to hear. Yeah, I'll give it a read. So there is the run on stops. Got some hourly low SMT with YM now. Wellness check on ASA. How you doing, Bubba? So yeah, now we've got NQ sweeping out that hourly low. YM failing to. So now we've got that kind of like NQ failure swing followed by sweep. Ain't run your stop yet. You stop at lunch low. Yeah, lunch low. Good boy. This hourly low SMT remains intact. And we get a new breaker on the 1 minute. Problem is like this is so gross. I can't with high degree of confidence um trust these lows to hold. When you're running, is it podcasts or music or a mix? I'm doing typically a mix of either music or nothing. I tried podcasts. I don't know. It's not that I need to like distract myself. Um, so like I don't know. Podcasts, yeah, podcasts just aren't I'd rather just listen to nothing than a podcast. I like to kind of be present. Music helps me feel present in that moment and like intensifies it a little bit if I need it, or like just makes it more enjoyable. So like especially like late into my prep, late into my block, like when I was doing high mileage, like music really helped me. And now music, um, because I'm like dealing with so like it's bad shin splints, like wicked fucking shin splints. I had to take a week off because like I was limping. I tried to do a well, I did a 15K time trial and ran like crazy fast. New PR for 15K by like by a ton. And then the next day, just started to notice like some fatigue and whatnot. And my shins had been bugging me previously. Um, and then I did a long run and it was just it I was limping. So I had to cut for a week. And then this past week I've been back to running. And the previous week. And it's kind of lingering still. So I'm like, I'm not any less fit because like I didn't take much time off and I've still been running, but I'm kind of dealing with like my efficiency is terrible right now. Like even though I don't like limp when I'm running, it's still like your body still kind of knows it's not as efficient because it's requiring more muscle recruitment to like maintain good form in that leg. So like my heart rate's been a little higher. So like that's been discouraging. So like music has been kind of helping me along with those runs too. Um, so it's just kind of a yeah, I don't know. I can't complain because like I got to be grateful to like the fact that like I get to move my body, you know, in the way that I do. So like a little injury um isn't bugging me too much, or I'm trying not to let it bug me too much, but um it's tough when you spend, 4 or 5 months of like balls to the wall grinding and then 3 weeks before your race you get an injury. So it's just kind of it's funny how the world works. My music taste is like incredibly wide range. Like I'll listen to EDM, I'll listen to country, I'll listen to a little bit of rap. I listen to like classic music as well, like old rock, or just regular classics. I have such a wide range. And it all depends on what I'm feeling that day. My favorite EDM artist? I don't have one specifically, but here's some of the ones that I listen to right now. Um, I've been listening to a lot of country, to be fair. Odessa's good. Loud Luxury is always going to be solid. Disco Lines. It's just like a wide range of a ton of different ones. Like I don't have one artist where I'm like I need to listen to all their shit. Loud Luxury is probably one that I've like consistently liked their music over time the most. Chainsmokers. But then there's like other just like little one-off artists. I don't know. I focus on the music and like the song, the single song, not just the artist. But yeah. And then like Don Diablo's good. I like Don Diablo. Dom Doll is good. Like some of his stuff. Can't go wrong with some Fisher if you want to get a little fucking crazy. Um, Fred again's good. Yeah, I like them all. Like I said, I'm not picky. Okay, is that a breaker confirmation there? No. Just failed to confirm it. Closure above this high is going to confirm the breaker. That's nested with the 3 p.m. open. We have a gap closing through it. But like, how's the R to R on it? It can't be that good, even if you get the gap. Yeah, no. No, I'm just gonna let it go. Yes, I know it can go a lot fucking higher than that because it's price discovery and this, that, and the other thing, but I'm not gonna. And did we delete? No, we didn't delete the hourly SMC. Indices price discovery with world current situation is insane, not gonna lie. I thought that too, but let me read you kind of my results or like my thought process on it. Um, because I had the same thoughts. That's a lot of material. So I kind of had like a just like a chat with AI to kind of like wrap my head around all this stuff. And what I found was that, and I've talked about this already, um, the market doesn't exactly only care about geopolitical backdrop, right? The market moves off of also earnings and variables, right? So, or multiples rather. So, obviously, yeah, coming into 2026, like the whole idea was that we were going to have some sort of inflation cooling, we were going to have quantitative easing, we were going to have rate cuts. I think there was like, fuck, it was like I don't have the number off the top of my head. It was like a 30 to 40% chance of like three rate cuts, three or more rate cuts in 2026. And now the possibility has dropped immensely to like maybe a couple percent of a few percent chance of a single drop at all in 2026. So we've had a complete switch up. Let me double check it. Let me double check it. Okay, so December, what's the current rate right now? Mm, so it has changed a little bit, which is nice. I'd have to do the new math. So we're kind of priced in maybe a chance of one cut. So things have kind of improved, it seems, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, current target rate. Okay. Oh, that's 2027. Never mind. Let me do this. Okay, this makes more sense. So right now there's a 24% chance, which is kind of improved. 24% chance of just one cut this year. It's improved a little bit in the past week or two. Right. Probabilities. Can't navigate. I'm not good with the FedWatch tool yet. I'm slow. Okay. So a month ago, there was a 6% chance of one cut. Now it's kind of risen a little bit. So we have that, and kind of inflation has been sticky, and it's stopped improving due to like recent oil shocks, pushing prices back up, which has delayed the Fed from hitting its 2% target. I'm just going to kind of read you what my AI has kind of showed me. So it's more of a supply shock going on, which central banks will typically treat cautiously, obviously. But another thing to keep in mind is that the economy hasn't broken yet, right? Labor markets are still somewhat stable. There's no clear recession fears forcing emergency cuts of any type. Um, so without any sort of economic pain, it's tough to, anticipate that we're going to be in a longer term, bearish sentiment market. So, so the odds of reducing cuts has, or the odds of cuts has reduced significantly. Um, so we may just stay on hold. Okay. Now let me find some more. Mm, I'm just making sure I'm finding the right info. info here because there's a lot of banter back and forth. So I'm trying to find the revised stuff. Here we go. Okay. Let me catch up on chat first. Gonna hit the sauna now, brother. Good luck for the rest of the session. Yeah, you too, bro. Enjoy the sauna. Good luck on your longs. Yeah, exactly. In TBH, some industries benefit from current situation. Seems it doesn't matter what happens. There's always going to be winners. Yeah. Yep. So here, I basically typed this into ChatGPT and kind of prompted it in this way, stating basically my confusion as to how equities are currently at all-time highs. Again, even with recent increasing inflation and the likelihood of rate cuts dropping. So it says you're right to question it on the surface. Higher inflation and fewer rate cuts should be a headwind for equities, but the markets aren't that linear, obviously, right? So no cuts doesn't necessarily mean bad economy. Biggest misunderstanding is that fewer cuts doesn't automatically mean it's bearish, and it all depends on the context and why, right? So the economy is still strong, right? Labor market is holding up. Earnings are not collapsing. So all these companies, I mean, albeit the 10 were being held up by maybe 7 to 10 of the biggest companies in the world are kind of holding indices up. And those companies are doing just fine for earnings. I mean, if you look at Google, Nvidia, Meta, all these companies, they're having pretty good, solid earnings. So it's not like they're being hurt by it. And that's what the stock market measures, right? It takes into account economic policy, but it can be affected mostly if these companies are affected by that economic policy as well, right? People are still buying their products. People are still subscribing to their services. So higher for longer, right? Number two, earnings are still driving the bus, right? So stock prices ultimately follow earnings and multiples. So even if the rates are high, if companies keep growing earnings, stocks can still go up, right? Big drivers right now are obviously the AI spending cycle, strong margins, and large capital dominance with those, 7 to 10 companies, right? So Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, the like, right? Those are your companies that are still doing quite well despite the backdrop. And all these companies, like, they're going to be fine. Like, I know things seem kind of fishy and whatnot, and they seem sketchy with a lot of these circular deals going on, but these companies aren't going to be the ones that are hurting. It's going to be the companies that IPO, like OpenAI, maybe Anthropic. Like these companies, Anthropic not so much, but OpenAI is like they are taking on extreme amounts of debt, and they don't exactly have the revenue to back it up yet. So that's where the concern lies. So the index can hit all-time highs even if most stocks aren't ripping, right? Okay, there's current PM high. Number three, liquidity hasn't actually tightened that much. So this is going into kind of a territory that I'm not super familiar with, but I'll read it anyway. So even without cuts, financial conditions aren't extremely restrictive, meaning credit markets are still functioning. The spread isn't widening or anything like that between credit spreads. There's still a lot of capital in the system. Okay. Plus, governments are still spending heavily, and obviously the AI capital expenditure is still high, right? All these companies are still spending billions upon billions of dollars on this whole AI, opportunity, right? Things are changing in that regard. So liquidity is going to be kind of trumping rates, right? And that just shows you right there that maybe where rates are at right now is sustainable. And none of this is new, right? This has all been happening gradually over time. So it's not like we just one day woke up and like our chance of 2 to 4 cuts this year has just been, decimated down to like 0.3 to 0.4 cuts being priced in, you know? Number five, even though rates are high, inflation is also elevated. So real rates aren't exploding higher, which softens the pressure on equities, positioning and momentum. Passive flows like ETFs and pensions keep buying. Underinvested managers chase performance. Momentum feeds itself. So you can get to all-time highs even if, the macro doesn't fit it perfectly. Um, yeah. So like earnings are kind of the foundation, but there's more to it, like obviously than that. So earnings are up, which is good for the stock market for equities, but nothing's broken yet. So that's another thing too, right? So if earnings were falling, we would not be at all-time highs. But if earnings were good, but the economy was breaking and like things were starting to show severe decline, then like we might be in a different position. And multiples, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is the last thing I'll mention. Multiples are still good, right? You still have people willing to buy these companies at 20 times their earnings, right? So like some of these PE ratios of these companies are insanely high and people are still willing to buy them. So what I mean by that is so like price to earnings ratio is essentially the price of the stock divided by its earnings per share. So say you have a stock at $100 and its earnings per share is $5. That you divide that stock price by its earnings per share price and you get your multiple, your PE ratio multiple, which is 20. So 100 divided by 5 is 20. So that means that the price to earnings ratio is $20 or 20. So that means that investors are willing to pay $20 for every dollar of earnings per share. So yeah, like I said, investors are still willing to pay high multiples for companies like Microsoft and Nvidia. People want to get involved. I mean, they're not exactly my insights. This is just me prompting AI and like talking through because like this it's hard to find all of this information in one place. So like if you can prompt AI properly, you can get some decent info, right? So I will not take credit. I will just take credit for the prompt. Yeah. And then like something I'm learning about is like credit, how to monitor credit markets, etc. For more macro. I want to like learn more about the macroeconomic side of things, but that's a story for another time. So now we're seeing another sweep on NQ. Big shocker. Clean longs, long DS with the sweep, TP hit, 2R. Nice, nice. Yeah, it was a clean play. Oh, I missed a question. Have you seen a documentary movie called Walking Life? I don't think so. I don't think so. Insane insights, man. Thanks for sharing. Were you always into economics or became a recent interest while learning trading? I will say I've always more or less been interested in economics, but like I have this, I don't know. I don't like not knowing things. So like I tend to like have an interest in learning something because I don't like not knowing it. So, um, but I think I wouldn't say just trading has, provided me an interest in economics and macro. I will say it's kind of a mix of my, you know, kind of like underlying need to like wanting to want to know things or like interest in wanting to know things, but also like having my own long-term portfolio. I like to play economist sometimes, and I think it's important to know what's going on. So, yeah, trading has definitely helped, but being an investor too. I will say being an investor has played a larger role than trading because like I don't need to know the economic backdrop or like what's going on, in the credit markets to like be able to take a 15-minute fucking breaker, right? Right? Like I don't need to know that stuff if I'm intraday trading, but for long-term outlooks and like to get a finger on the pulse, um, as it were, yeah, it's kind of nice to know, about what's going on in the economy and be able to decipher information. Plus, like, I think it's just good conversation. I mean, more and more people every day are talking about the markets and talking about the economy. Um, so it's good to have good information. Yeah, it's an innate behavior for sure to understand things. Yeah, I don't like not knowing shit. Could be an ego thing. I mean, I'm not denying I have an ego. I definitely fucking have one. Um, but yeah, just a thirst for knowledge. I'm a nerd, a big nerd. And I know it's most people don't really give a shit about economics either. I mean, I will say probably half the people that come in here probably just want to see me take a trade, which I don't blame them. That's kind of why I'm here. But can't trade what's not there. Want to take a short here? Yeah, you can go for it. We're just in the same situation we were in earlier. Even less confirmation now. The longs were okay. Completely agree with the not knowing angle. Yeah. Honestly, man, it can be detrimental. It can be detrimental trading wise because like you can show up to a chart that you can't read and it puts you into an anxious state and then you start coming up with ideas that don't really fit. And it can lead to forcing trades. I've been there. I've been there. So not that like having a thirst for knowledge or like wanting to know things is a bad thing. It's just all things in moderation, right? It's one of those situations where it's kind of like a good servant but a bad master, right? Yeah. That's me coming up with ideas. Yeah. I mean, hey man, you're not the only one. I'd argue everyone goes through a phase like that in trading. Okay. Gonna call it a day. We'll join your future streams for more chat and chart action. Have a great one, man. Hey, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. You're always welcome back in here. Conversation is always gonna be here. So have a good rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in. Drop a like if you don't mind on your way out. That'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, more than welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Already liked it. My man. What's up, Slim? Hope your day was good. Mine was not. Wow, what's going on? I'm flat today, so I didn't I didn't take any trades. I wasn't here in the morning, and then this afternoon has been rather dry. So off of that hourly low SMT, we actually created a new 15-minute breaker inside of this 15-minute breaker. And I'm just looking at all the projections that we have. You can see that we have a big nest of them here, and we have a nest of them here. So maybe Tesla earnings wants to get a little crazy. I was in that situation. I had $400 left in 3 accounts to pass them, started forcing things just to pass it now. Now I have 1,500 left to do. Nice. I know that feeling. Make sure you're not being that impulsive on a funded account, though, right? That carryover can be detrimental. No, absolutely not. It's a good man. That's a good man. What do you guys think for Tesla earnings? Higher, lower, sideways? Probably up. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I see a ton of projections kind of up in this area up here. Won't be for me, but if you want to hold through that through Tesla, then give her shit. Gonna be kind of looking at 27 twos. As it's kind of nested all with these breakers. This breaker from London, this breaker from New York, this breaker from lunch. All these session breakers. But I might call her here, guys, because I'm not going to be taking anything. I don't think so. Probably just gonna. How you come up with 27.2? Because of all these projections, right? Like -4 standard deviations here, here, and here. All of these breakers. So if Tesla wants to give, a really good earnings and we want to get really bullish off of it, 27.2 could be like a max expansion area. We're already kind of at -2 standard deviations of other of those same breakers. So be looking for, price discovery, like we can just rip, right? And it's only 150 points away. If things get pretty volatile, I don't think we'd have an issue getting up there, but that's just where I'm looking. Don't have any skin in the game at the moment on it, so that shows you how confident I am in the setup, right? It's not the most clear cut for me personally, but I could see it going there. But I'm gonna call it a day here, I think, guys. Another PM session of just watching it do its thing. I don't know. These PM sessions are. Yesterday PM session was fine. This one, however, just didn't have the conviction. I think my my standards for taking trades on Lab Live is extremely high. So like I'm only going to be taking setups that I absolutely love on live. Probably just because, trade in front of an audience has that effect. But not that I am regretting not taking anything, but yeah. Can I explain? We're going to cut the stream here. I will do it another stream, but we're going to call it here. It's basically just go practice, go find breakers. If you can identify a breaker block, you have an immediate way of measuring standard deviations. You go from the swing high to the swing low of the bullish breaker. And then you get your projections. -2 is a typical expansion. -4 is typically max expansion. I will break some more stuff down. So tune into another stream of mine in the future and I will 100% break it down, but make sure you ask it at the beginning of the stream. Okay. Thank you guys. I'm going to hop off now and go for my run and get on with my day. So you guys be good. Don't get caught in the shit winds of Tesla earnings. If you're not comfy, no problem walking away, or no, nothing wrong with walking away. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys don't mind on your way out, dropping a like and a subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate that. Lets us know that we're doing a good job. But yeah, saw some new faces in here, so glad to have you guys in here. And for the familiar faces, thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate you all. Okay, so I will be back streaming Friday in the PM session again. So I will see you guys when I see you. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, take care.